I am Megan Ariana, 33 years old, and I run one of the most successful boutique hotel groups in the country. It's ironic how the very people who disowned me for pursuing my passion now expected to profit from my hard work. From a quiet corner of the grand lobby of my signature hotel, I saw my father berate a young concierge, having no idea who I was in the 8 years since they cast me out. Before we get into this, tell me where you're listening from in the comments. And don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories about taking back your power. Growing up in a polished suburb of Chicago, my life looked perfect. Our sprawling home gave no hint of the Cold War waged within its walls. My parents, Robert and Eleanor, were masters of illusion. Obsessed with social standing, every dollar was spent maintaining the facade of wealth we didn't truly possess. My father, a career middle manager in hospitality, was a deeply bitter man, resentful of the executive suite he never reached. His one attempt at his own business, a small inn, crashed and burned in under a year, leaving him contemptuous of anyone else's success, especially a woman's. My mother's entire existence was a performance, hosting lavish parties we couldn't afford and measuring her self-worth by the logos on her handbags. Then there were my siblings. My brother, Leo, was the celebrated son, his mediocrity excused and his failures reframed as learning experiences. My sister, Chloe, was the perfect porcelain doll, groomed not for a career, but for a wealthy marriage. And then there was me. I didn't play with dolls. I played general manager. I'd design check-in procedures for my stuffed animals and create detailed profit and loss statements for my lemonade stand. At 10 years old, I made over $400 one summer with a tiered pricing model and a loyalty program. My parents called it a fluke. By 16, I was working part-time in housekeeping at a local hotel. Wanting to learn the business from the very bottom, my parents were mortified. "What will we tell people?" my mother wailed. "That our daughter cleans toilets for a living." The final battle came with my college applications. They had pre-selected liberal arts schools known for producing society wives. I applied only to the top hospitality programs in the world. When my acceptance letter from a prestigious Swiss university arrived, the explosion was nuclear. "You'll be eaten alive," my father roared. "That industry is no place for a naive girl." They refused to pay a single cent. So, I took the scholarships, worked 3 jobs, and lived on instant noodles and sheer will. I called home weekly at first, but the calls grew shorter. My father's only question was always, "Have you come to your senses yet?" By my 2nd year, they stopped answering my calls altogether. I graduated at the top of my class with multiple job offers. I sat alone at the ceremony, an empty space where my family should have been. As other graduates posed for pictures with proud parents, I made a vow. If they couldn't see my worth, I would build an empire so undeniable that the entire world would have to. That day was the most painful and most important day of my life. It was the day I became my own champion. The automatic doors of the St. Dages, Claire Grand, my company's crown jewel in downtown Chicago, slid open. And there they were. 8 years had passed, but they were instantly recognizable. My father, grayer and heavier, wore a suit that was clearly trying too hard. My mother clutched her handbag like a shield, her eyes scanning the lobby, pricing every piece of art. Leo looked restless and puffy, while Chloe, though still beautiful, had a brittle edge I'd never seen before. I watched from near the concierge desk, invisible in my simple black suit. "Ariana party. Checking in," my father announced to the front desk agent, his voice booming with false authority. "We're VIPs. Personal guests of Megan Ariana." The young woman at the desk, trained for precisely this kind of encounter, smiled calmly. "Of course. Sire, may I see your confirmation?" He slid his phone across the marble counter. "We were told the presidential suite would be ready for us. Megan and I are old friends. I was her mentor. You see," I had to physically bite my tongue to keep from laughing. The lie was so audacious. "So, him. I'm showing 4 of our deluxe suites reserved under your name. Mr. Ariana," the agent said smoothly. "The presidential suite is occupied by our keynote speaker for the conference, My father's face purpled. There's been a mistake. We are essentially family to Megan Ariana. Get your manager. Michael? The hotel's general manager, and my trusted colleague of 5 years, was already gliding over. He knew the entire backstory. Good morning, Michael said. Is there an issue? Your employee is confused. My father snapped. We are guests of the owner and require the presidential suite. Michael gave me a flicker of a glance. I do apologize. Sire. But that suite is reserved for Miss Ariana herself. She is our host. This is unacceptable, he blustered, his voice rising. Guests were starting to stare. I have her personal number. When she hears about this, I decided it was time. I walked toward them, my heels clicking softly on the marble. Is there a problem here? Michael. He nodded. These guests were under the impression the presidential suite was available. Miss Bennett. He used my professional pseudonym. My father turned to me, his expression a mask of condescension. This is a private matter. It doesn't concern you. Actually, I said, my voice even and calm. As the conference host, all high-level arrangements concern me. I am Megan Ariana. The silence was absolute. The color drained from my father's face. My mother let out a tiny, strangled gasp. Leo froze, his phone halfway to his ear. Chloe's perfectly painted mouth fell open. Megan, my mother whispered. Hello. Mother, I said, a cool smile playing on my lips. Dad. Leo. Chloe. Welcome to my hotel. My father was the first to recover, his internal gears grinding as he shifted from bully to sycophant. Megan, what a surprise. We've been trying to find you for years. You never called. I have the same phone number I had in college, I stated flatly. Darling. You look incredible, my mother gushed, stepping forward, as if to hug me. I took a half step back. We always knew you had it in you. We are so proud. Proud, I repeated. That's not what I recall. I recall being told I was an embarrassment. I recall being disowned. I turned my gaze back to my father. And I believe you were just telling the staff that you were my mentor. He forced a laugh. A little joke, just trying to, you know. No. I don't, I said. And let's be clear. There is no mistake with your rooms. The deluxe suites I arranged for you are more than adequate. The presidential suite is mine. But Megan, my mother pleaded. We're your family. You are attendees of my conference. I corrected her, and you will be treated as such. Michael, please ensure the Ariana party is checked into their assigned rooms. Standard amenities only. I turned to leave, but my father's voice, tight with fury, stopped me. So that's it. You're going to treat us like strangers. I faced him one last time, the years of pain hardening my voice. You made me a stranger 8 years ago. I'm just finally accepting the terms you set. I walked away without looking back, leaving them standing speechless in the center of the lobby. The magnificent heart of the empire they told me I could never build. That night, the grand ballroom glittered. As the host and keynote speaker, I moved through the crowd of industry titans, my executive team forming a subtle barrier around me. Across the room, I saw my family. They looked like ghosts at a feast. Their clothes dated, their attempts at networking clumsy and desperate. Each time my father tried to approach me, my head of security, Marcus, would materialize and gently steer him away. At 9:30, I took the stage. The applause was deafening. My eyes found them at the back of the room, their faces a mixture of shock, resentment, and a dawning, horrified understanding of the world they had forsaken. My speech was about authentic hospitality, about the power of making people feel seen and valued. True luxury, I said, my voice ringing with conviction as I looked directly at my father, isn't about the thread count of the sheets or the brand of the champagne. It's about connection. It's the feeling that you matter. When people are dismissed, ignored, and made to feel worthless, they never forget it. The room erupted. As I stepped down from the stage, I was swarmed. Later that night, as I was heading to my suite, Marcus intercepted me. Ma'am, your father is causing a disturbance at the bar. He's telling everyone he's your new EVP of Global Strategy. Isayad. Handle it. An hour later, Marcus called my suite. He's gone. But not before getting into a shouting match with an investor from Blackwood Capital. And your brother. We have a problem. He was seen on security footage, accessing a restricted conference area near the tech demo rooms. A cold knot formed in my stomach. What did he do? He used a staff keycard he must have lifted to get into the showroom for Project Meridian. The prototype is missing. Project Meridian. Our revolutionary new guest experience, AI. A proprietary platform worth at least $200 million. The future of my company. Lock down the hotel. I said. My voice dangerously quiet. No one in his family leaves their room. Find my brother. Now. The next day, my family's keycards stopped working. Their complimentary spa appointments were cancelled. When they ordered room service, they were informed it would be charged to their credit card on file, a card I knew would be declined. I watched on a security feed as my father screamed at the front desk manager. The manager calmly handed him an envelope. Inside was an itemized bill for their stay, totaling over $12,000. And a handwritten note from me. Asterisk. Actions have consequences. My staff is not here to be abused. Your complimentary status is revoked. I have also been made aware of a theft. We will discuss this at 7 a.m. Private dining room. Be there. Asterisk. They were all there when I entered, looking haggard and furious. What is the meaning of this? Megan, my father began. Cutting us off. That bill is insane. I ignored him and looked at my brother. Where is it? Leo. Where is what he mumbled? Refusing to meet my eyes, I slid a tablet across the polished table. On it was crystal clear security footage of him slipping the sleek, black Meridian prototype into his jacket and walking out. My mother gasped. Chloe buried her face in her hands. You stole from me, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. You came into my hotel, a place I built from nothing, after you all threw me away, and you tried to steal its future. I was going to give it back, he stammered. We need money. Megan, I have people. You don't understand. Oh, I understand perfectly. I shot back. Marcus? My head of security stepped into the room, along with 2 uniformed Chicago police officers. No, my mother shrieked, lunging forward. Megan, please, he's your brother, and you are my mother, I said, my voice finally breaking with the weight of it all. You're the one who was supposed to protect me. You were all supposed to be my family, but you left me with nothing. So I built something for myself, and I will protect it. From anyone. The officers cuffed a sobbing Leo. My father stood, impotent and broken. My mother was weeping hysterically. I looked at them. The people who shared my blood, but not my heart. The power wasn't in the money or the hotels. It was in this moment. The moment I finally chose myself over the fantasy of a family that never was. The bill for your stay will be sent to your home address, I said calmly. Turning to leave. I suggest you pay it. Leo was charged with corporate espionage and grand theft. Faced with overwhelming evidence, he took a plea deal and received a sentence of 5 years. The rest of my family retreated into shame-filled silence. The bank foreclosed on their house. My father, stripped of his pride, suffered a minor stroke. 6 months later, a letter arrived. It was from Chloe. In it, she took responsibility for her part, for her silent complicity. She said she and my mother were in therapy, that my father was finally listening. It wasn't an appeal for money or forgiveness, just a statement of fact, an acknowledgement of the truth. I read the letter, folded it, and placed it in a drawer. I didn't reply. My healing wasn't about them anymore. It was about me. My empire was built on the idea of making every guest feel valued. My life was now built on the same principle. But the primary guest was me. I had finally learned that setting a boundary isn't an act of aggression, it's an act of self-respect. And building a life you value is the greatest success of all. Have you ever had to make a hard choice to protect your own peace? Let me know your story in the comments. If this resonated, please like and subscribe for more. Thank you for being